Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.
Legends 34 Sports Podcast, Episode 2.
Episode 2 of
None
2
other than
million.
K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.
Sir.
And, man, it seems like right after the last episode, something happened, man. You care to enlighten us? What's the new? What's popping?
What a difference a week makes.
As far as Texans.
The last time we talked, we were just coasting through the offseason in the NFL, and then all of a sudden, boom, we get the news that the Texans have made a trade to get star wide receiver Stephon Diggs.
Pro Bowl.
Man, yeah, man. Pro Bowl star wide receiver. He's a legit number one receiver, and they got him for a second-round pick in 2025. So they don't even have to come off of nothing this go-round. They 2025, they'll have to come off a second-round pick. Now, typically, second-round picks, that's a pretty strong pick, but the Texans are trying to win now.
Yeah.
They're trying to get it done right now. So I like the fact that this is a move that shows that they're going all in because, with the core that developed last year, nobody saw Nico Collins breaking out like he did. Even guys like Noah Brown.
Tank Dell.
Yeah, Tank was that was just automatic. He got hurt towards the end, but, you add Diggs to that core that was already in place. CJ is like I don't want to say a kid in the candy store, but
right.
but that's pretty much the best analogy that you can come up with because what are the defense gonna do now?
Right,
who you doubling? And somebody's always gonna be open. And then I'm not the biggest fan of Dalton Schultz because he drops a lot of passes. He seemed to drop some passes in key moments, but even just to have that outlet at the tight end position added to that core, man. Robert Woods, that's a strong receiving core, bro.
Right. Let alone that they ain't wasting no time. Hell, what a better opportunity to segue with trying to get Eddie and Eric involved in the show. Hey, Eddie, there's already clips of Stroud with Diggs.
Yeah.
You seen that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I ain't wasting no time. They're already all on the field throwing the ball around.
The thing about CJ is that he's so advanced as a young man that he already understands the importance of developing the chemistry.
Right.
And it's one thing that's okay, we signed this guy and he's in another city and we're down here and then we'll see when camp starts compared to let's get ahead of this thing, get ahead of the game, meet up, work out, get to know each other off the field so we can have that chemistry, you know what I'm saying? Getting that chemistry together is going to be important because any of those kind of, I guess, hard conversations that you're going to end up having to have, they can get that stuff out the way earlier.
Right.
Like, hey, man, I thought you was breaking right. You broke left. Nah, man, I told you to play with. So you're not doing that on the field, even though it'll still be some of that, but you get a feel for each other. And CJ, he did that last season. He did that coming in as a rookie. So
right.
that's just leadership qualities that this guy is showing that but it's going to be a problem, man. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't see how the Texans are not going to be up, 20, 30 points a game.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, by
that
accident.
offense is going to be explosive.
And we even talked about Joe Mixon, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully the running game will provide some kind of balance to where it's going to really be a problem, when they start to open this thing up. I look at it from the standpoint of two things. Like, a team could either take a step back after a surprise season like that because they're not sneaking up on nobody, or you can look at it from the standpoint of that they didn't stand pat. They said, okay, we're going to not rest on our laurels from last year. We're going to go and stack more onto this thing, because when you really think about it, by them winning a playoff game last year, they were only 2 wins away from the Super Bowl. So think about that. Don't look at the season. Just look at the fact to say, hey, man, the Texans were 2 wins away from going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
That puts it in a different kind of perspective. And now you add these guys to the mix with Danielle Hunt on the defensive side. Will Anderson Jr. is going to be a year better. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. I just hope it's no letdown.
I don't have to double check this, but I believe that pick was part of the Deshaun Watson trade too that we gave up for Diggs. I'm not certain on that, but I wonder how Deshaun feels about that. Let alone we beat Cleveland in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
weird
he
how
cares.
that's all unfolding, man.
I heard a audio clip today where Deshaun was at a Lakers game, and some fans walked up to him and asked him for an autograph, and he said no. And one of the fans said, "That's why CJ took your job." This was the day I heard that. But I think as professional athletes, you don't get caught up in that. And plus, in Deshaun's mind, he probably like, I didn't play in that game.
Right.
So which would have been interesting but scary had it been Deshaun playing instead of Flacco. So Deshaun probably like, as a competitor, his mind is like, okay, well, we'll see what happens when I actually play against y'all, and that's gonna be a heck of a game if those two cross paths, again, especially in a playoff situation. Right.
We'll have to see what the league holds this year. I know we play Cleveland. I'm sure. Yeah. I think we do. Yeah, I'm quite sure. I don't know. I have to look at the schedule.
Yeah. Either way, though, man, I'm really, I can't wait to see. I haven't been excited about a football season like this in a while. Last year I was excited, but I didn't know really what to expect. I don't watch a lot of college football, so I had only heard the names Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis. I had only heard those names, but I'm just listening to what everybody else is saying about who they should get. And so my dumb self, I'm like, okay, well, everybody's saying get Bryce Young.
Right.
But once I start kind of really looking in more detail as far as, the size of the quarterbacks and the comparison and things like that, I'm like, nah, I know smaller quarterbacks have been successful, but that's more the exception than the rule.
Right.
So when I hit a CJ like 6'2", and I get the bigger guy, and we so far seem to have not only gotten the bigger guy, but the better guy, the more accurate guy, even though the jury is still out on Bryce Young.
And being that he's not a scrambling quarterback, that's another thing. He's more of a pocket quarterback. I love that, and he can take a hit.
Yeah.
He seems
now we don't want him to be taking no hits. We don't want him to keep proving he can take a hit. But I also know that CJ has the capability of running and scrambling.
Right.
That's just not his go-to. And shout out to my homeboy Greek, because we had this argument all the time. He likes running quarterbacks. He likes guys who just, I guess, the Lamar Jackson mode. But my thing always is, dude, the more you run, the more you increase your chances of getting your head knocked off. So the great quarterbacks,
or fumbling the ball,
whatever. But but the great quarterbacks that are mobile, they know when to go. You can't just see. It was times last year where I was kind of watching CJ like either run or get rid of the ball, because he is patient in the pocket and he'll just be in the pocket. And I'm like, they coming, throw them. But he has a pocket presence and an awareness, and like we said on last episode, if the offensive line gets right, oh my God, I'm scared, man. He passed for over 4,000 yards last year, which was one of the highest totals for a rookie in history. So, man, I'm scared to see what'll happen if this guy get some blocking, a decent run game, and now with the weapons he have, at wide receiver.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning. What if that 1 game, 2 games he didn't play? Who knows?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
already set a rookie record, but who knows what kind of record he would have been.
Man.
I have to mention that. I'm a big stat geek, but I was following that all year, and but we're going to shift gears here. The women's basketball is now over. South Carolina prevailed over Caitlin Clark. I was watching that game, and it became very apparent to me. Caitlin Clark only goes right.
Yeah.
I never really noticed that before, but she's kind of easy to coach against. Huh? I never see her was going left. She seemed kind of predictable, and Carolina really clamped down on that.
One of my biggest issues that I have with coaching, and even with players, because I think players should know certain things and they shouldn't have to be coached in certain things, is the recognition of players' strengths and weaknesses. And it seems like coaches don't get that. Even with LSU, it's like, okay, even not knowing that she doesn't like to go left, just the fact that somebody is just combusting the way she was, and an adjustment is not made to double team or get off the ball or make her do something different, I always look at coaching. Now, somebody looked at some film on what you're talking about and said, well, wait a minute, she seems to only be going that one way. Let's see how she is if we influence her to the left. But the funniest thing I saw was this. I didn't know that, because I remember the clip of her last year walking away from the girl and doing this here when the girl was wide open and she wouldn't shoot because the girl wasn't a shooter. I didn't know that was the same girl that was playing against her in championship and that was taking her cookies every single time. So that was like some poetic justice on that end. But I saw an interview with Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, and they were asking them about Caitlin Clark, and Taurasi was like basically saying, yeah, it's cool what she's doing, but it's levels to this.
Right.
She gonna find out. So in other words, don't get too hyped up about what y'all seeing in college, because when she gets to where we are, it's gonna be a different type of set. That's not to say she won't be good. Right. It's not to say she won't be great. But trust me, if the way that young lady locked her up and did a pretty good, she still had like 22 points. But
still had a good number.
You got to. My theory on basketball is, with a great scorer, if they get their numbers, make sure whatever their numbers are, it's a hard 30. It's a hard 25. Not he was 15 for 17 from the field. No, we need you to be 5 for 22.
Yes.
Some along those lines. So somebody looked at some film on her, and they implemented a plan that worked.
Right, it did work, man. And congrats to South Carolina, man. Undefeated season. Don Staley, the coach.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
former U.S. women's Olympic gold medalist, right? She was a great ball player herself.
Yeah, she's a Hall of Famer herself as just what she did on the court. So now she's kind of running it up in terms of coaching. But she's been there for 15, 16 years now. So she's doing her thing, and undefeated season. But I think what happens is, even in college sports, just like on the pro level, the emphasis from media gets placed more on individuals than on teams. And so with all of the greatness, all the great things that South Carolina was doing, going undefeated, they were still kind of flying under the radar, because all you heard about was Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, and all that. So you hear about the individuals. But meanwhile, South Carolina, we just beating everybody.
Yeah, we don't lose.
At the end of the day, we holding this up.
Yeah, no L train for us.
No question about it.
And now on the men's basketball, college, UConn prevailed over
Purdue,
the Boilermakers.
Yeah.
And that's of noteworthy, because I wanted to bring up congratulations to UConn, by the way. What a great season they had. What a great
back-to-back
university they are. I mean, we're talking about Ray Allen alumni here, man. The UConn Huskies are a great program.
Yeah. Look, and may have gotten in both sports had it not been for a faulty screen called by the referee. I don't know, man. I think they might have wanted to see Caitlin in that championship game again, but because I hate when referees decide the outcome of the game, bro.
Right.
Man, that's horrible, bro. That is horrible, man. And for the game to be on the line like that, and then they call, a ticky-tack, not even an obvious illegal screen. I don't know if it was illegal or not, but if it's a little hip nudge here and there, I'm not calling that, bro.
Right.
I'm not calling that, man. So it could have been a double thing.
Maybe both you call.
But no, I don't think nobody's gonna beat South Carolina. But just to have both programs in the championship game. But that call messed me up, bro.
Yeah, that was something else. Leaving the game in controversy like that.
Yeah.
But back to the men's basketball. Zach Edey.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of talk about him in the draft.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that because it's right in line with what we were talking about last time about the game's changed. Now it's all behind the three-point line.
Right.
This guy in the 80s, there's been no question have been a number one pick.
Yeah.
You know how the temperature has changed, right? The landscape has changed in the NBA. Now they're saying he might not go as early as 20. He's low in the draft. I mean, I ask you, would you want the Rockets to draft him?
Well, I think that conversation is based around a few things. Like I said, number one, he's not a stretch guy. He's not a guy that's going to shoot. He's not the most athletic guy. Now, take everything that he has and even take away the fact that he's not a perimeter guy that's going to step out and hit a bunch of threes. Just say, for example, if he had a different level of athleticism about himself, he would definitely be, this is going to be the number one guy. But the fact that he's kind of slow, when you get to the NBA and they putting him in pick and rolls and things of that nature, and guys are just blowing by him, turning the corner on him, it's going to be a little tough for him. So that's one of the things I think why they're projecting him to fall, which I still was surprised at how far they were saying that he might fall, because I heard the same thing. I was like, man, that low? The guy, he had 37 in the championship game, and I think he won Player of the Year, right?
Yeah.
So for a guy to have those kind of accolades attached to his name in his final year, and they're still saying he may not even go top 5, that's weird, man. Or it could be just they throwing it out there to maybe kind of misdirect and throw people out track. Because you're looking at the Pistons. The interesting thing is, if you were the Spurs and you had that pick, would you pick him already having Wemby? Would you take Zach Edey to have those two big guys up there?
Maybe, because they got Wemby at the 5 now. I think they're moving him around position-wise.
Yeah, you could play them together because Edey's not going out on the perimeter. He's not going out. But that would be – see, I'm old school, man. So, and this Legends 34. So we come from a spoiled old school era. We had Ralph and still went and got a king. So we believe we originated the Twin Tower thing, man.
Right.
And San Antonio believes in the Twin Tower concept as well with Duncan and Robinson all those years. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to me if somehow it landed like that. But this is all just hypothetical that I'm saying. But
for those who don't know, Zach Edey, 7'2", 280.
Yeah, some along those lines. Yeah,
big boy, man.
Look,
that's a big pick.
Look, I've watched him. He needs some polishing up. He's still a little raw. In the college game, he's so big, you're not going to find guys his size to where he should dominate the way he dominates. But on a pro level, it wouldn't take a guy that's his height and size to be effective against him defensively.
Right.
A guy like Draymond Green could give him problems. A guy like name another bigger guy that may not be 7 feet tall. He would struggle with a Giannis.
Rockets, Adam.
Steven Adams. Yeah, your twin would give him. So he's gonna have to go through those same as Wemby. Wemby has some issues. I saw the first matchup between Wembanyama and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And Wemby had a decent game, but Embiid had a monster game. So that's just adjustment periods and things that he's going to have to go through. But Wemby has the athleticism to where that gap is going to close between him. This is just his first go-around. Zach Edey is going to have to really adjust because there are things that he is not going to be able to ever just acquire. Right. Speed and agility and athleticism, that's not going to be his game. So it's going to be interesting to see how he makes that adjustment when he jumps.
I'm glad you brought up Wemby because I got a great question for Wemby. Were you? Should Wembanyama win Defensive Player of the Year or at least be in the talks for it? The man has led the league all year in blocks.
Who are the candidates?
Well, you know,
Rudy
Gobert always.
Besides Rudy and Wemby.
Probably Alexander. He's leading the league in steals.
Still, okay, but I haven't heard his name as far as just, you know, because you can lead the league. I know Iverson led the league in steals, but his name was never considered as, you know, because steals is more of a skill set that you can kind of play passing lanes, but it's not on ball like a Gary Payton or somebody.
But you're right, rebounding and block shots.
Yeah,
which is,
right. So Rudy Gobert, Wemby. I can't think of nobody else that's in the running, but I wouldn't be opposed to giving him Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
I wouldn't be opposed to that at all because he's averaging what? 3 plus?
3.5 a game.
Close to 4.
Which we hadn't seen in the league
in a while.
In a long time.
In a while.
The Dream days.
Right. I think Dream got the 4 one time.
Right.
But also what doesn't get mentioned in terms of a lot of times in the Defensive of the Year award is because we kind of look at the stats all the time. Man, you can only imagine how many points a game this guy saves just from just being in the paint, spread out or
his
hands
range,
up.
Right.
Guy jumps in the air and got to throw it back out, you know, or turns it over or something along those lines. So, yeah, man, and he's only going to get better. Definitely Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
You know, they had a conversation between Holmgren. I don't believe in a guy who was in the league and sat out his first year. If you miss your first year, you're not eligible to me. Yeah, right. You're not eligible for the Rookie of the Year the next year. That's what happened with Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell a few years back. Dude, you've been in the NBA training camp. You've been around the players. You're on the team. You're in the practices. You're in the film room. You haven't been on the court, but you have the experience. You're not a rookie no more. Right. So definitely, I would give him Rookie of the Year, but I could see him being a high candidate for Defensive Player of the Year too.
And I want to mention, is right in our discussion here, reason why he's getting all those block shots because he blocks three-point shooters, which is another anomaly that we haven't seen.
Yeah, that's insane.
In the league, you know.
That's insane.
Yeah, he blocks, you know, guys that are 6'6", 6'8", 7-footers that shoot threes. Right. He's out there squatting those shots down, you know what I'm saying?
I saw him get Clay.
Right.
You know, and Clay had looking like, whoa, you know.
People are not used to that.
And it's clean because you got so many skilled perimeter players in the NBA now. They are skilled at the art of shooting a three and drawing that foul.
Yeah.
Because when you extend to try to contest and close out and contest, they know how to get that contact. Even just a graze from whether it be Steph, whether it be Dame Lillard, James Harden guy, they know how to do that. Yeah. But his extension is so legit. He nowhere near you when you block. It's not even a question of he touched me or he grazed my. Nah, man, those are clean blocks. He's just 7 feet 5 inches tall,
8 foot
that length, wingspan,
or whatever,
and can jump.
Right.
You know, it can just. So I mean, yeah, that's going to be. If they ever turn that into a stat, block shots on 3 points, he'll have that forever.
And it's funny you mention that because, like me, you're a stat geek. You look at all the stats all these years since you've been watching basketball, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they now have a category for 3-pointers made.
Yeah.
They created that stat just for Steph. Am I wrong?
3-pointers made.
They never had that before Steph came into the league.
They had it. They had it. I'm going to tell you how I know they had it because I remember one year Vernon Maxwell led. Of course, he led the Rockets team in 3-pointers made, and attempted. And I I don't know if he led the league, but they've always had the stat.
I know they keep up with it, but now it's like a prominent thing.
Yeah.
You know, that Steph up there.
Well, I mean, I
but
think,
like you saying, now we need the other stat block shots on 3-pointers.
because Steph got the market cornered on. I don't know who got the most made, but you got guys like Dame Lillard and Steph and guys like that who shoot at a high clip and got the green light.
And since we're still on the NBA, we're going to just pick up on another segment here that I want to start incorporating. I was telling Eddie and Eric, like, if I don't do segments like this, I don't need to do the show at all. And that's about Alton Ford. Alton Ford, used to hoop with him at Hartman Middle School. Coach Cyphers come open the gym on Friday nights. What an amazing player he was even back then. People throwing him alleys. Again, this is him in middle school before he went to Milby.
Right.
And then he went to Milby. Oh, wow. What a career he had at Milby. He made the back of Slam magazine, which I wanted to. I had it one time. I lost. It had Ford Tough, and it had the Milby banners and everything. And he went on to play at U of H. Right. Then got drafted by Phoenix, and then eventually got to play for the Rockets. Right. Yeah. What a life this man had. Right. And unfortunately, he passed away. I think about 9 years ago. Eddie, we're going to bring a clip up here or the article.
I think it was 2018, was it? Yeah. Okay, we're looking at it now.
On for dies at 36. He had died of cancer, and I believe at the time he was playing for Russia League or I forget where, Ukraine maybe. But this is close to my heart, and a lot of us Houstonians that knew this man. And as they say, he's a gentle giant, nicest guy, cool man. But he lived the dream, man. Let alone the basketball NBA dream, playing for the hometown, all the teams, U of H, Cougars to the Rockets. I don't know if you ever had a chance to see him play or you've heard of him. Or...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember hearing his name start to ring around those U of H days. And they were talking about, they was always speculating, projecting where he would go in the draft and all that. And anytime a local guy has that opportunity to come into the league, I'm like, even if I'm not even familiar, I'm going to familiarize myself with him. Because I was like, okay, this guy, I'm hearing some things about him. And I know he was probably just about around 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
You know, not a big guy NBA standards, but he made it. He made it. So he falls in that category of guys who come out of our city that actually got a chance to realize that dream. And I tell people all the time, bro, you know, at the age, like the ages we are now, you don't realize how young 36 and 37 out it is until you are far past that age. So us being now where we are in our 50s, then you say, man, it's 36, man. He's just, you know, he was a baby, man. He was a baby, you know, and that cancer just an ugly monster. But the beautiful thing is when a guy establishes a legacy that he can leave. And I don't know if he had any children, but I know he had family members and
I believe he had a wife and a child. I believe, yes.
So his child can grow up and actually see the thing that his dad did. His dad didn't play back in the Bob Cousy days when his dad played in a modern era where he can be shown, this is your dad. Your dad made it to the league, and who knows, we might see a son coming up in the ranks one day because them genetics, you know, that's how it works.
But like I says, I wanted to bring up at least him in this segment, man. Salute to him and his family, Milby, Coach Honey, the whole organization. Hartman as well. He was a Hartman Pirate.
Hartman Pirates in the building. Yeah, man. Definitely much love. And yeah, he did come to Houston for a second. So he steps in that line with people like Drexler and all those guys who him and Clyde may be, and Gerald Green.
Well, you got
the only guys that born and raised out here that actually ended up playing for the Rockets.
And if this gentleman ever graces us with his presence on the show, I'm already getting in trouble. The Rockets were going to draft him, but Seattle did instead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Rashard Lewis.
Yes, Rashard Lewis.
No doubt. Yeah.
What a better way to try to get him on the show. I can't remember his name.
I got you, Rashard. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Kay.
But
we were so pumped up when he was up for the draft. We just knew he was going to be a Rocket.
Right.
That stretch 4, huh?
Well, according to what he said that the Rockets told him that they were going to get him. And then they didn't. Now, it's two sides to every story, but, I don't see why the man would lie. But I think he got an early understanding of how this whole thing is a business. And just because somebody says something, just because they may even shake your hand, the game is so cutthroat that it doesn't matter. The biggest thing I just remember just him being in that green room, just waiting, because Rashard came out of high school. So when you are a player that comes directly out of high school, part of your thought process is, hey man, I want to live my dream. I want to make it to the league. But part of the reason for that is this financial.
Right.
I'm trying to get in here and get some money so I can take care of my family, my mother, whatever I got to do. So I can imagine at that time, the panic that may have kicked in for Rashard, like, man, I might not even get drafted. And what am I going to do? He could have went to college or something, if it would have went like that. But, man, he ended up playing.
Oh, he had a
15,
successful
16,
career.
Great career.
He ended up in the championships with Dwight Howard, I believe, with Orlando.
And turned himself into one of the better three-point shooters in the league for the time
corner,
that he was in the league.
Yeah.
So Rashard had a great career, man. Made a lot of money. But I was thinking about the guys who were born and raised in Houston. He could have been one of those guys that actually ended up with the Rockets. And like I said, you got Clyde, you got Alton Ford, you got Gerald Green. I can't think of.
Can you bring up that clip? I forgot about that, please.
Yeah.
This is Gerald Green talking about Alton Ford. Yeah. This is for the show.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'm gonna bring this up.
I hate that I didn't acknowledge that his passing, but Alton Ford was a guy to me that I grew up watching. By me going to Dolby, I know he went to Milby. I think he came to Dolby one time and gave Dolby like 40. And everybody was talking about how he could have had a chance to go out of high school. Obviously, he went to U of H for a year and ended up going pro after that. But he's always been a guy, as a growing up early age, that I kind of looked up to, because I knew that he was a pro. I seen he was a Houston kid, and shit, he was playing right in the same neighborhood I was playing in. So it's a sad story. God bless him and his family. I'm definitely praying for him. But he is a guy that will be remembered. He's a guy that is a Houston legend in my opinion, and I hope his legacy carry on forever. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Salute to Alton Ford.
And do you know how hard it is? See, I wish we could pull out the odds of a basketball player just making it to the NBA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the odds of a player, because you're talking about all around the country and now all around the world with the NBA being so global like it is now, where teams are actually scouting and searching.
All the top picks
overseas.
This year,
Right.
the projecting are all foreign players.
Right. So to be able to make it to the league, man, and on teams that in a league where the team only has a roster of 15 guys, back then 12, so that's amazing, man. So that alone, for a guy like Alton Ford or anybody, that's a testament to his legacy and to his greatness, to be one of those 12. I don't care if you lasted 3 years, 5 years, 2 years. If you made it to one of those rosters, like we showed the clip where he was guarding Shaq.
Right.
You find yourself in that position.
Wow.
Hey, man, you made it, bro. You made it, man.
Yeah, man. Enough. I can't say enough about the.
Yeah, man. Come on, man.
Wow.
Man.
1.2. I think 0.2.
Do you know how many people in the world are working out right? With all this AAU basketball, all these different cities around the country, all these different leagues, it's millions of players, young players, that are working out with the aspirations and the goal in mind to make it to the league. Fathers training their sons right now. Coaches training to make it to the league. And the reality is only that percentage that you just showed are gonna get there.
Right.
You know, they have other options. You can go overseas now. There are more outlets to go play professional ball. But I'm talking about the NBA. Hey man, salute to anybody that makes it for any period of time, straight up.
And I can't think of a better segue this man just did to my little rant that I got on my list here.
Wreck's rant.
That's it.
Right here on Legends 34.
Talk about how hard it is to make it in NBA and the players that didn't make or that are legends, street ball legends, right? Yeah. And that is my rant on the word GOAT.
Yeah.
It's being overused. Yeah. It's everybody wants to use GOAT this, GOAT that, GOAT, 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 the GOAT, GOAT. Yeah. GOAT's the GOAT, greatest of all time. Let's not forget the original GOAT.
Yeah.
And that's Earl Manigault.
Yeah.
The original GOAT.
Right.
That's when we first even heard the term.
Right. Well, I think they called him the GOAT because of how his name sounds.
Correct.
Manigault.
Correct.
Manigault. I remember GOAT just being the acronym being applied when LL Cool J said he came to the album called Greatest of All Time. And I always wondered, LL, like, did he trademark that and get money out?
Right.
Because remember when the Lakers won back-to-back in 87 and 88, and Pat Riley coined the term three-peat.
Yep.
And I remember a rumor, confirm it, I remember a rumor that he had trademarked the term three-peat because they were going for the three-peat that year, and if it ever would have got out, he would have made money off of it. Now, a few years later, the Bulls actually did three-peat, so they had three-peat T-shirts and all that. And according to the rumor, Pat Riley was getting a piece of that because he coined that term. So I always wondered if Cool J had
on the GOAT.
On that GOAT. If he didn't, because everybody is so overblown, like you said, and overused now,
right? To
where you even got Clarissa Shields calling herself the GOAT, the greatest woman of all time. So they making variations of right.
But Eddie got up here on the search here. Basketball is also the hardest sport to go pro in. Unless you're about 6'3", you have a very low chance of making it big. Only about 0.008% of high school basketball players turn pro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then, you got to understand because the limited roster spots. It's 50-something players on a football team. 25 to 30 on a baseball team. So you have more opportunities in those sports. You can have football players. I hear of football players, I hear their name, and they'll say, Bob Wickenham, 15-year veteran. I never heard this guy before. Because there's so many players on the rosters. Man, these guys been in the league established. 8-time Pro Bowler. Mike Johansson. I never heard this guy before.
Right.
So basketball, we pretty much know every guy, know. So yeah, it's hey man, if you talk about hitting the lottery, if you make it to the league, bro, the NBA, you did something, man. You did something.
And again, back to the real GOAT, the first GOAT, right? Earl Manigault, right? They say the legend of him, he was 6'1", and he could grab a dollar bill off the top of the backboard, supposedly.
Off the top of the back.
Well, for young people watching the show, y'all need to Google it, man. They made a movie about him. Don Cheadle played him in a movie called Rebound, I believe. I've seen it.
I love that movie. I accidentally came across that movie one day just watching cable, and because I never heard of him.
Right.
And then at the end, they had, because as you watching the movie, when I first stumbled across the movie, I didn't know if it was based on a real guy or not.
Right.
Until the end when they start showing K-Rino, Abdul-Jabbar, and different guys that were speaking about him. So, yeah, I mean, but every city has a story like that because every city has legends in different sports that coulda, shoulda, woulda made it. Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda made it.
He's passed, by the way. He passed in 98.
Yeah. It's
been a while.
Yeah, so, I mean, every city has those legends, man, and, Manigault was definitely one of, we got legends right here in the city.
Yes.
Look at it and say, man, how did he not make it?
Right.
He should have did it, and life circumstances play a part in all that, or just discipline in certain areas, or who you know and who you don't know, who liked you and who didn't like you. There's so many reasons why people don't make it, man.
Right, which makes this even easier to segue right into, hometown favorites, hometown people that are close to our hearts as far as Rocket players or hometown players, the ones that get lost, that get, overshadowed. And that's Rafer Alston.
Yeah, Skip.
Skip to my Lou, right?
Yeah.
He's one from the street ball era that did make it to the NBA. He went through the whole channels, college, and then played in the NBA and had a lucrative career in the NBA, let alone play for the Rockets.
Yeah.
What, 3-4 seasons?
Yeah. And other team, Rafer played on that Orlando team that went to the championship.
Yeah.
And really, he was one of the key reasons why they went to the championship, because if you remember, the starting point guard on that team was Jameer Nelson.
Yes.
He got hurt. They moved Rafer into the starting lineup, and they took off. Now, Jameer came back during the finals, and the chemistry was kind of thrown on. Not to say they would have beat the Lakers anyway, but, Skip was one of those guys who could successfully play both games. He could play the and one street ball game, and that's how it is. A lot of guys that had too much of the street ball in them, they can't transition over into the program.
They're not coachable,
and just the discipline. And sometimes they're not,
right?
Because they may not understand the X's and O's and all that. But Rafer Alston had played college ball, so he understood how to do that. And like you say, he made a great career for himself, man. I love when he was down here.
Yeah,
when he was tracing y'all and all. That was because he was a floor general. He knew the game. He knew exactly. You wouldn't taking the ball from him.
Right.
That ain't happening.
And you're not going to punk him either, man.
No, heck no.
Rafer ready to go.
No.
He was a Mad Max 2.0 almost. He got just some scuffles.
Rafer Alston is another guy that you can name out of the more recent guys. Because, you could always go back 25, 30 years and say, what if this guy played today? Rafer is one of the guys who actually did play in the modern era.
Right.
But I would have loved to see him play now,
right,
in this game. You hear about Rafer Alston and guys like White Chocolate. I would love to see them dudes playing now in the NBA, man. So, Rafer, look, I'm looking at he was 47.
Yeah, come back, Rafer.
You know what I'm saying?
Get a 10-day. Come back to the Rockets. But Rafer, man, what a way to cap this little segment about how hard it is to get in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the people that didn't make it became legends. And then someone like himself who, again, started out in street ball. Hell, started and won. People that don't know that
he was a different kind of legend. You know, he was a street legend, and like you say, you don't really see guys like that make the jump and come into the league. I can't think of anybody else besides him, that make that jump successfully like that. A guy may get a chance, and this is before all the access with the G League and all that. They may have had that in place, but I think it was harder, to make it.
All right, I guess we're going to segue into baseball. And first things first, I got to make a correction from last broadcast. Wasn't Dotel. It was Blanco.
Yeah,
was
Ronel Blanco.
Or Benny Blanco as homie Miguel. What's up, Miguel? Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Benny Blanco, you remember Benny Blanco from the Bronx?
But he almost threw another no-hitter against the Rangers. He went 5, almost 6 innings. Quite impressive, man. So what we need right now, and the Rangers had a big, Astros had a big game yesterday, 10 runs, 10-5, and now they've their bats are getting hot. Maybe things will start to calibrate a little bit.
Well, I mean, I discovered a long time ago that pitching wins championships in baseball.
Right, that's it. Mr. Braves fan.
Yeah, without a doubt. You got to have some pitching. Old school Braves. Yeah, but you got to have pitching, man. So it doesn't matter how deep your lineup, your hitters are. You got to be able to shut guys down.
Right.
Pitching is the equivalent of defense, in other sports. So, yeah, if you look at the Astros injuries, they're mainly at the pitcher spot, from Verlander to Urquidy to even if you want to still include Lance McCullers in that mix. All of the injuries are pitching. So now they brought a guy up. By the time this airs, that the Ranger series will be passed. But they brought a guy up who might as well be me out there.
Right. Just brought him up.
Yeah,
man.
and he wasn't ready for the lights. He was not ready. And he didn't make it out of the first inning. They tapped him, man, because when you coming in playing against that guy, you the world champions, and then you stick this guy out there, and they called him. They just called him last night. He was on the couch chilling and like, hey, man, what's up? Oh, you pitching him out. What?
Right.
So, yeah, but hopefully he'll get another shot at it. But, yeah, man, pitching wins, bro. And the Astros' problems so far this year have been rooted in the lack of pitching staff, starting pitching and bullpen. Because even Hader, the closer that they signed, he haven't even really kicked in yet, which I think he will. And
we'll talk about a possible reason for that. That's another buzz headline that's going around the MLB. But speaking of Houston Legends, right? Can you get my shirt in the frame here?
Hey. OG salute.
I know it's big enough, Eddie. You probably have to zoom back out.
That's an OG salute right there,
Should
man.
I stand up just so you can see the shirt?
Oh, yeah, man. J.R. Richard, for y'all don't know, man, one of the most ferocious, hard pitching pitchers to ever come through the major leagues, man. And we was fortunate enough to have him with the Astros.
At the same time with Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, him and Nolan Ryan on the same staff, man. And he was a monster. He was a beast. They feared him. Just like they had fear for Nolan Ryan. They feared J.R. Richards when he was on that mound, bro.
At my best, I could throw it through a car wash and never get it wet.
And I met this man. I had the privilege to meet this man. I used to work with his son. This man was huge. He was about 6'7", 6'8", and he had the hugest hands. I don't know how he could throw a baseball. His hands were so big, but yeah, man, what a great pitcher. And he had a story himself, I believe, at one time. Yeah. He was, I think, living under the 610 freeway, and he rebounded, and the fans came together, and I think the news.
We know what that is. That's about the how the economics of the game was then compared to now. He would never be in a situation like that. If he was pitching now, he'd be making $25 million a year, and the whole entire roster of a baseball team in the late 70s, early 80s wouldn't equal up to $25 million, not even close. So he was just a victim, like a lot of the older players in any sport, of the way that the economics was structured. Guys was making, I remember Earl Campbell, I think he was making $100,000 a year.
That was a lot of money then.
Right, at that time. So the way the economics was set up, it was a lot of money. But, man, as time goes on and inflation and all that type of stuff kicks in, man, and even if you make some mistakes with your finances, you look up and 2, 3, 4, 5 years out of retirement, you're struggling, man. I've heard stories recent of guys. When I say recent, I mean guys who retired in the 80s and went out and got regular jobs. They retired from professional sports. So, I'm glad the money is like what it is, but I hate for the old heads that they didn't make the money. And I've heard rumors that there are things in place to try to set up funding. I know they got pensions and all that in all sports, but, you never want to hear about stuff like that, man.
And also, unfortunately, I believe Richards passed recently, I think, a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's right on your shirt, 2021. Right. Yeah, no doubt,
But I wanted to bring him up, man. What a great Astro he was, person. A shout out to KB, man. I used to work with him. It was good to know him and his father and get to meet him. Yeah. But back to baseball, I guess the story going around right now, pitching and injuries, is because of this pitch clock that they've implemented in the majors. Right. And what a good subject to talk about. I don't know your feelings on it, but my daughter Ashley, you get name dropped every episode. She's saying maybe they changed the timing on it, or maybe they eventually get rid of it again. But they're saying, since they're on a pitch clock, it's fast pitch, and this is causing possibly all these injuries league-wide. What's your feelings on this?
Yeah, I don't know if they can prove that scientifically any kind of way. I do know that the reason why they claim that they implemented the pitch count was to try to make the games go faster.
Well, we looked it up. Again, Ashley, you should be on the show. The baseball games are coming in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Now, with the clock implemented, they're down to about 2:40.
Right.
So you've shaved off, I think, 25 minutes off the broadcast.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Well, if they can scientifically prove that that's contributing to the injuries, then you might say, nah, man, it's not worth it. But for the sake of time, my question is, who was complaining about the length of the games? Was it the fans, or was it the networks? Was it people in the inner circles of baseball? Was it the players? Because if it wasn't the fans or the players, then who cares? Because that's a product that the fans are looking at it, and they don't have an issue with it, so they're not looking. I've always been under the mindset, just since I've been alive and aware of baseball games are long.
It's 27
Baseball
hours.
games are long, and baseball is one of the only sports that has no clock. There's no first quarter. You got innings, but it's not like we got 2 minutes left in the first inning. We'll be back after these messages. No, it's if somebody gets hot, they may put up 9 runs in the inning, and it seems like this inning never ends. Or if a pitcher is killing, he may be running through those guys, and he gets them, and the game lasts under 3 hours. So if it's just the league whining about it, then I say leave it like it is. Leave it alone, But if they can prove guys are getting hurt because they rushing, and not only injuries that have been people that have been trying to attribute to the pitch count, also lack of performance by certain pitchers because it's taking them out of their routine.
Right.
So now that would be like if I'm a guy who I shoot free throws, then normally I got to do this, wipe my head.
Okay, Jeff, want a sec?
Yeah, wave to my children. Then all of a sudden they come out, the NBA comes out tomorrow and say, hey, man, all free throws have to be shot within 3 seconds.
Right.
So as soon as you get the ball, guys are now I feel like free throw percentages will go down.
Right.
Because guys don't have time
to
lock in and concentrate. So, I mean, if it's affecting performance, then it's kind of messed up.
But it's worth mentioning that they now have this replay rule in the NBA now, MLB,
baseball,
and then the umps have to review the play, which also adds time to the game, right? Is this kind of counterbalancing?
Yeah.
You have to wonder, if that plays into it.
Well, the reviews are going to be fewer and far in between. If the pitch count is in there, that's something every pitch is locked in on that time frame that you have to. So that's going to naturally shave time off of. A review may happen once or twice a game. So it's not going to really take a lot. It just all depends on how quickly the umpires make the decision. Just like in the NBA, just like in the NFL. Sometimes they review stuff in the other sports, and we sitting there, we watch the replay on TV, 8 different angles, and we're like, man, it ain't no way it's supposed to take this long for 3 referees to figure, or a team of referees to figure this out. We see it. It was out on him, But it just depends, man, because some reviews have lasted 3 or 4 minutes. So it just depends.
And they still get it wrong.
And they still get it wrong sometimes,
That's so irritating to me.
But baseball is a different animal, and I think a lot of the pitchers. But just like anything else, man, over time, players adjust. So just say, for example, this rule never gets changed with the pitch clock, and 15, 20 years from now, it's still in place. There's going to be a whole other generation that grows up playing baseball. All they know is the pitch clock.
Yeah.
Just like there was a time where there was no 3-point line in the NBA.
True.
But these generations of young people coming up, they don't remember a time that it wasn't a 3-point line. But you go watch an old game from 1976, you don't see that wide 3-point circle on the court.
Right.
So if you grow up already playing by that rule, then it's not even anything different to you.
Right, true.
When this group of players weeds itself out, then it's not going to even be a big deal, And these players are going to adjust to it.
Right. Which I can't help but mention, because I'm hearing already in the minors, they're, I believe, running a strike zone computer, meaning that the ump isn't calling the strike zone; it's done by a computer now, and they're talking about putting that in the majors.
It's a pretty standard day at the ballpark. That's until a few weeks ago.
To me, it's boring. We can't yell at the umpire because he's just going to point up above. It wasn't me, it's the machine up there.
In 2023, Major League Baseball implemented the automatic ball and strike system, or ABS, across AAA baseball.
We've got cameras set up all around the stadium, and it's supposed to track the ball all the way in, equivalent to home plate. It's all synchronized. To be honest with you, I don't believe it works.
The system, which looks like security cameras, creates a strike zone based on the batter's measurements. Once the pitch is thrown, a signal is sent to the umpire on whether it was a ball or a strike.
It's a fluid motion, and umpires have done a good job of making it look like they're actually making the call, whereas it's in their ear that they're getting the ball strike call.
Well, I don't like that. I don't like anything that removes the human element out of really anything. But since this is a sports show, I don't really like that. Now, it's been said that the umpires in baseball are the worst officials in any sport. And it just so I've heard that said. I haven't really dove into it to really just look at that. But I don't like when the human element is taken out of stuff like that. Computers are flawed, just like people are flawed, but it still adds more of a natural feel to the sport when you got actual people handling that aspect of it. So I wouldn't be in favor of that.
I can't say I would either. But I would be intrigued as to the umpire and, say, the batter, like, interchange. They're, that's always caused the biggest arguments.
Who gonna call it?
Yeah, the ump's telling
that's part of the game,
and then the manager comes out.
That's a good point, Doug.
You're gonna eliminate that out of the game.
Who we gonna argue with? The computer's gonna be like what's gonna be? Yeah, that's gonna be tough, man.
You're going to get rid of that element in baseball.
Who do you cuss out when it was clearly a ball and this computer calls it a strike, man?
Like they do in tennis. Like if it's out on the line in tennis, the computer calls it. If I'm not mistaken. There's nobody arguing there.
Yeah, but see, the tennis, they still have the two people sitting on the thing.
True, right.
But on the computer in tennis, it's more so like a review, like in other sports.
Right.
That's what that is. But part of the game, because if you watch Sports Center tonight, if a player or a manager gets into it with an umpire, they're gonna show that. Yeah. So such and such runs out of the dugout and he gets tossed, and that's part of the highlight.
He's kicking dirt on the home base.
Right. Back to the Billy Martin days. So now you got and especially if your team is on the road.
Right.
So if the road team comes in and something happens and one of their guys or the manager gets kicked out, now the fans are into it.
Right.
It's a momentum thing.
Right.
So that's a bad idea. That's a good point, though. It's a bad idea, man. No, they don't do it. Don't take that's the human element. Don't take the human element out of the game.
I wouldn't be surprised they experiment with it or something. Maybe like try to do it in an all-star game or something. You know how they like to play mad scientists?
Yeah.
But
all major sports, in my opinion, they make mistakes because they tweak too much, and you mess stuff up. Last week we talked about the in-season tournament and the play-in. You get to messing with too much stuff. I've heard conversations about, well, what would happen if the NBA puts in a 4-point line? And you're making the game stupid now. Don't make the game dumb by just steadily trying to add more, because now you're gonna really have people coming across jacking from.
Geez.
It's certain things that need to just be left as is, and keep the I guess the game in a place where it doesn't get too out of control with all these new rules and stuff.
Right.
You know, we can talk about the current Rockets though, man.
Yeah.
I love getting
well,
to that.
I asked you if I guess you bring anything for show and tell, huh?
Yeah. I just brought me today, man.
All right, I brought something for show and tell.
I want to see what you got. Let me see what you. Let me see what you got. Man, he coming out with a whole.
He got it all wrapped up like
he got a bag this big, but he putting out a flagpole.
Once I pull this out, they all gonna go. Oh. Yeah, if I ever put this on, it was mean business, didn't it?
Man, it's like some Globetrotter. Oh no, okay. Oh, that's Grant Hill. Oh yeah,
that's right.
That's Grant Hill. That looked like.
I wish I could wear this.
Look,
Maybe I get back there and can't get on the court.
It looked like the Grant Hill jersey on Martin.
Everybody knew I was wearing this. Him in business, right? You was in trouble.
See, when Martin on the Martin show, he had a Grant Hill jersey, and the lady washed it, and the jersey was about that big, man. Yeah.
But I don't know when you hooped if you had your uniform.
I never wore jerseys. I always was a T-shirt guy.
Of course, it's been clean, man. It's not.
Now, if I wore jerseys, I was playing in a league or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I've had some jerseys though. I got a Rockets jersey with my name on the back of it.
Oh wow, with the K-Rino?
Yeah, back when I played in the league. No, just playing.
For real though, you got a jersey with your K-Rino on it?
Shout out to my homie Jordan King. He made it for me. You know.
Oh, you got to bring that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
And it's Rockets.
Yeah.
Oh wow, what number?
19. My favorite number.
That's your number, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Well, as you see, I had a love affair with a man crush on Grant Hill when he came out of Duke, man.
The bad man.
I think he was the next thing, if barring injury.
Yeah.
He would have been the LeBron, right?
Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway.
Yes, that's another one.
Those two are the two that come to mind when you talk about what their careers would have been or might have been had it not been for the injury, because you had already saw. It's not like they got hurt early in their rookie year and we wouldn't know. Well, we don't know if he would have been great. These guys were already multiple All-Stars and were on that kind of Hall of Fame trajectory as it was. Grant ended up making it into the Hall, but Penny, his got really really cut short, man. Straight up.
Right. Grant made it look so effortless.
Yeah. And Grant wasn't no great shooter.
Not a drop of sweat.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. The super quick, tight handle.
That stutter crossover he had. It just,
super skilled, man.
What could have been,
And wasn't really a great shooter. That was amazing about you. But he was one of those guys that, you ever play against a guy that's so quick, and if your mind like, he can't really shoot, and I'm going to back up off of him, but he still takes up that space. Even when you back up, he still gets by you.
Right.
And that's how Grant Hill was, So look, that's Scottie Pippen. He was just blowing by like what he was just.
Yeah, a little stutter cross on his head. He's gone.
Gone. And Pippen was backed up. Pippen was like a few feet off him. That go to show, the kind of player that dude was, man. Plain and simple. So.
But you right mentioning Anthony Hardaway, man. That series against the Rockets, man. I just knew.
Oh yeah.
After that series, like this dude gonna take over the league, man. Making us look silly.
He was there, man. He was there. It just go to show. How fragile you are as a player, because your strength can be just taken away with one injury, and the knees, anything involved in the knees or anything like that. Grant Hill had a lot of chronic ankle problems, but Hardaway had knee problems and things of that nature, man.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe he had an ankle surgery that went septic.
Oh yeah.
Am I right about that? He almost could have died at one point in his career.
I watched the episode of Open Court one year, and he showed his ankle. Now this is long after he was retired.
Right.
His ankle is still
got
a lot of swelling in it. His ankle still looked jacked up, man. It looked bad, man. That boy.
I guess we're rounding third here, and I wanted to end up in this about golf. I know you don't do a lot about golf or do golf, or which I need to get you on the golf course. Maybe,
just watch.
We could send out a lifeline. We get Uncle Brad on the show. Maybe we go golfing all together.
And I'll sit there and watch both of y'all. I will sit and watch.
But the Masters is coming up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they're talking about Tiger is going to be teeing up, which we don't expect much, but maybe he'll make the cut line. Who knows? But it's of noteworthy that this man is bionic. This man is $1 billion man. We got this graphic up here. All the surgeries he's had, and this is before the latest car accident where he rolled the floorboard up on his leg. Like, he's had now his leg reconstructed, but you can see, like Kay was looking at earlier.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm tired of counting. And what I was saying off camera, I'm going to say it on camera. Man, I never in my life saw a player that plays a non-contact sport have this many contact type injuries.
Right.
Like, I mean, you saw with Achilles, re-injured Achilles, what is this, anterior lumbar, I don't even know what that is, inner body fusion surgery. I mean, I don't even know how that's possible in a sport like golf to have this many serious injuries like that. Ruptured ACL.
And that's why I brought it up,
That's
man.
crazy,
Give flowers to this man, because let alone this dude's even walking.
Yeah.
That he's still playing.
Can I say something that's gonna make everybody mad? He need to lay it down, man.
What?
Lay it down, Tiger.
Let his son take it. His Charlie take it, and his daughter.
Go ahead and pass the leg. I mean, because one thing I'll never do is try to suppress somebody's love for a game that they do love. So to say, okay, man, don't play no more, but prove me wrong. I just don't think that he can get to that level again. I just don't believe it. You know, now anything can happen, but I just can't see it, man. I'm looking at this grocery list, man, of injuries, and Tiger has to be. How old is Tiger now?
We're the same age. He's 48.
So he's 48, almost 50 years old. Which, barring any of these injuries, he would still be a prime dude.
Yeah.
Now, him being on a pace early on in his prime to break the record, to break Jack Nicklaus's record, it was foregone conclude. Oh, he gonna break it.
Right.
But now he's been stalled at whatever that number is all these years because of the fact that he just can't play on that level no more, man. And the injuries, the back, all that, and sometimes not making the cut. I'm one of those guys who, when I got love for somebody, I don't like to see them in the field looking like that. I don't want to see Akeem Olajuwon barely getting 1 point a game, and I would like to remember you the way you was. I would never want to see that. So I want him to stop.
Right.
But I can't speak for you, but I wish he would just lay it down.
Well, it goes to show, people think, some people think golf is this and that, but it is a grind, man. You got to walk for 4 days, the course. There's no cart.
Right.
And it takes a toll on your body, let alone this person like this who's had all these surgeries on his back, his legs, his ankles, let alone serious injuries in a car accident. But
that's like
he's teeing up. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be the whole.
I don't.
If he makes the cut, it's going to be all over the news.
That's the problem. I don't want to be no sympathy. So, wow, Tiger made the cut. Oh, wow, now I'm an inspirational little story when I once was the coldest dude ever in the game. That's not the bar for me. Oh, he made the cut now. It's like that again. That would be like LeBron at the end of his career, and he's playing, averaging 4 or 5 points a game. Then one night he hit 12 points. Ooh, LeBron hit double digits tonight. Like that's not the dude we knew.
Right.
So I mean, I get it. And if he made the cut, people would look at that as a victory or an accomplishment. Man, not me, man. I lay it down, Tiger. Lay it down.
Well, it's worth mentioning the top players are trying to win this thing is Scheffler, McIlroy, Rahm, and Koepka. Yeah. So if I had to pick, it'd probably be Koepka because
what's the average age of those guys?
He's kind of the current guy who's at the top of the boards right now, or has been in the past few years. But we'll see what happens with the Masters, I'm sure.
And let me give Tiger his props, man. You know, Tiger is he is the bar. He was the new bar that got set for all of those young guys you named. He was the guy they looked at. Right. Tiger was the guy they looked at and came into that mode, you know. And Tiger's the one that made black folks start watching golf.
Yeah.
We start watching golf like, who is this dude, you know? So he done so much for the game and done some amazing things, but I just don't like to see a guy be a shell of himself.
Right.
That's what I don't like to see. But you can't stop him from doing what he loves to do.
Well, we'll see how it all lines up this weekend or whatnot, who wins.
Yeah. Plain and simple, man.
If we haven't done this yet in 2 episodes, we want to make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
We make sure that you share this over social media and drop a comment. Maybe something that you would like Kay to talk about in the next show, or me, or whatnot, or you want more Eddie on the show, or Eric over here. Well, you need to
the invisible ease. We have the invisible ease that y'all can't see on the show, man.
I want Kay to freestyle.
Right.
Yeah, man. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Which we have not done yet. You need to
Jacks
pick up.
of all trades.
This man got 2 new albums out. They got the Audio Optics, and we got 7 Hour Block, correct? Done with Tragic from Canada. Yeah. That project went on vinyl, right? They ain't playing around over here, right?
We trying to be somebody when we grow up, man. You know, we got love. We so embedded in this sports culture in the city of Houston, but music and sports always have gone.
So he'll flip the mirror back on you. You're talking about Tiger. You don't want to see them when they're a shell themselves. We don't have to worry about this, man. He's still at the top, man. No shell.
Heck
no shell here, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, music is a thinking game, yeah, without a doubt. So it's like, you know, I could tap my ACL. That's gonna stop me from. That's not gonna stop me from being able to go in the booth.
Plus, he hasn't driven his car over the side of a cliff either. That's probably helped out in your career.
Yeah, but you know, Tiger's done so much for the game. I got love for what he's done, and he's the greatest ever to me.
Oh yeah.
The records may not catch the records because of the injuries and all that, but there was nobody like him. They were adjusting golf courses and all that to level the playing field because he was so far ahead of everybody else. So now, I mean, that's why when I say I want him to stop, I'm saying it out of love. Like, come on, Tiger, I don't want to see you, you know. Now, but trust me, I understand his legacy and his impact on the game of golf, you know.
Well, I always say this, maybe end it on Tiger. I've witnessed a lot of sports events, games, Super Bowls, championships, Rockets, Astros. Yeah. But there's nothing, in my opinion, like Tiger on Sunday coming down the back nine, the Tiger roar, the roar of the galley, whether he was behind catching up or he was ahead. There was nothing like it in sports, man, and we ever seen or will ever see again, you know. Yeah, so I feel you when you say you don't want to see this man limp around the course when he was capable of such extreme, spectacular golf that left us all in awe for 20 years, you know.
I respect that, but I still would rather hold up an NBA championship. I would love to see us make a game-winning 3 in Game 7 to win the NBA title than see Tiger on a Sunday. But I get it, though. I understand because he did electrify the sport. He electrified the nation and the world, and he's still inspired. So, you know. Number love for Tiger Woods, man.
No golf for you, though, huh?
No golf for me.
Never, ever?
None for me, thanks. No. I think I tried to play golf in high school one time. They had a golf team, and I went out there, but it's just not my sport. It's not my sport. I can watch it, but I'm like you. I'm not like you, but I would only watch it on that last day when it's coming down to it.
Right.
You know, I don't watch sports that I don't know all the rules to. You know? I don't know but
people want to see K playing basketball. Golfing and rapping at the same time.
Right, there you go.
You want a good laugh, I go out there, but it just I respect it, man, because just like what we watching clips now, and you see this guy get a freaking hole in one, it's like, or close to it. It's like at the end of the day, it's a skill that that is a skill. This is not luck that they doing. You hit the ball and hit a backspin and pass the hole and come back to the hole, and it's like bowling and pool, and it's English. It's So I mean, I respect all skill sets in every sport, man.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is going to be it for this podcast, for this episode, Legends 34. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you go buy this man's album, CD. You go listen to it on Spotify. You go buy it on vinyl now, Audio Optics. You got 7th Hour Block plus the other 60 albums. I think we get the last count.
Yeah, we getting there. We getting there. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, y'all, and make sure that any sports topics that y'all want us to cover, let us know, man. We'll get it on. We don't mind arguing with y'all. We'll argue with you. We stand on what we stand on, man.
All right. Well, till next time, man. Legends 34. We out.
Salute.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.